As a recap. Several months ago, I accidentally found out my husband was cheating during his supposed work trips. He was actually on a romantic getaway with a co-worker. We divorced, and he has since been playing house with his new girlfriend. He has moved in with his mistress and is parenting her kids while mostly neglecting ours. My children effectively do not have a father anymore, but we are learning to cope. I have an excellent new boyfriend, and we are slowly beginning to approach a new normal. That being said, my ex seems to be going out of his way to make it difficult. This update is vindicating, and the last one that I will have for a while. You'll see why at the end. Chapter 57. Going in circles. I'm tired. No, that's not correct. I'm mentally exhausted. I ask you, how do you negotiate with someone unwilling to negotiate? How do you resolve a problem that someone refuses to acknowledge exists? How can a person scream what they want but be resistant to entertaining someone else's needs? How is everything seemingly unfair to one when someone else is always picking up the pieces? Why must one always be transparent while the other lies to win? I ask myself these questions and realize the answers won't come. You know why? Because I'm not that person. I'm not the person he is. I could never fathom acting as he acts because decent people don't. Only snakes who are selfish and out to kill with their venom behave in this manner. Well, this snake is big, and he bites often. He got a new job. Good for you. 3 cheers. My lawyer asks for his new salary so we can recalculate CS, and his attorney lets us know it's a lateral move, no increase. And not only is it a lateral move, but a move within the company that let him go. False, fake news. I know this all to be a lie as he sent me the health insurance info for this new job. I was looking to double up on dental and vision, and the company name was on the paperwork. A Google search of the company and title also led me to a salary that was a little more than 10K of what he was making. You dirty dog. Trying to hide your job and increase salary from your kids. But why? What's the motivation? Who wins there? A few more dinners out with your GF? Maybe gifts for her kids? He just got them Jordans and my kids are wearing Adidas? Starting a vacation account? No matter the winner, I know who loses Super Bowl. Sunday I contacted him about something concerning the boys. And we of course go into a conversation, okay, you got me, argument, about him finally signing the order he has had since October. I'll paraphrase his response. I'm not signing. What was proposed in that order, one both we and our attorneys worked on, is unfair, and I want to go to court to get everything squared away fairly. I'll blow whatever money I could be spending on the boys, money you haven't been spending this past year, on court fees. You refuse to compromise on anything. Only thing I didn't compromise on was travel, sir, and you only use our original order when it's convenient for you. I haven't used it at all because you moved 2,000 miles away. I look forward to when you have to spend thousands. Oops, did you forget you pay legal fees if we go to court? Yikes, this is awkward. On an agreement I've made months ago. Goodbye. Yes, that looks about right. I told him that if he thinks a judge will rule in his favour when he has done none of his monthly parenting time, ignored receipts for extracurriculars, and avoided signing off on the correct child support amount, then okay, let's head down to City Hall, buddy. If you have followed my story, you know our original order required him to come here monthly. Well, he kicked and screamed that this wasn't possible and demanded a new order in which the boys go there. Well, the boys are supposed to return there in April for spring break. Of course, I asked him a few times about dates and travel, and he has ignored me. Yes, that's his new go-to move. Ignoring me. The old head-in-the-sand routine. So today I get a text telling me it's not feasible for the boys to come there for Easter. Instead, he offers a suggestion. He will come here March 17th. I read that and thought I stroked out. I have negotiated with this man for a year only to have him suggest coming here. Shock isn't even the word. But wait, there's a catch. He wants to come Monday, Friday, in which he will pick the boys up from school, spend 2 to 3 hours with them, and then return them home. Say what now? So let me get this straight. You are suggesting you come here to babysit, not parent. You will assume no parental responsibility, minus the school pickup, and then we'll drop them off so I can do homework, feed, bath, and put to bed. Only to wake them, feed them, get them ready for school and bring them. How is this proposal of seeing them for 15 hours equivalent to the 10 days of parenting you were supposed to do? The math isn't mathing. I didn't answer. I don't think my brain comprehends this suggestion because it basically exploded. He obviously sees no issue in the suggestion. That's what's so mind-boggling about it. He is contradicting what he claimed was impossible a year ago. Maybe the boys were monsters when he visited. Maybe his GF doesn't want the headache of entertaining for a week. Or maybe he saw the price of flights. He expects me to be accommodating but fights to meet any of my accommodations. No. Pause. Full stop. I emailed my lawyer. She said not to respond. She hasn't been able to get a hold of his lawyer for months. She said, "This plays in my favour. We can use this." I'm not sure how, but I'm excited to see how this plays out. Chapter 58. The Road Trip. You know when you take a car ride somewhere new, going there always seems to take an eternity. It's probably because it's a new place, you don't know the path, so you make some wrong turns, ask people for help with directions, eat way too many snacks, but in the end you get there. Well, I am here. I've parked the car and turned off the engine. I slap my head to the steering wheel and breathe a sigh of relief. 2 weeks ago, my ex was supposed to come here with his adopted family and spend spring break taking in the sights and spending a few hours with the boys. But the boys had school, sports, events, and things planned that just didn't make that week feasible. So, I declined and reminded him of their actual spring break in April, but apparently that doesn't work for him. So the week came, and when we had a day free up, I contacted him, the boys were available and he was in town. But then I learned he never came. They decided on a trip to a sunny state was in order. He blamed me for ruining his plans because I didn't make the boys available. I apparently kept the boys from him. Obviously, all those other months he declined his parenting time are not up for debate. This was the only week he wanted to claim and I was the bad guy. At this point, I'm beyond frustrated with his inconsistent parenting. You can't just choose to parent when it is convenient. He can't seem to grasp this concept. So again, I call the lawyer. I am literally bleeding money in legal fees. Like major head wound could be fatal, bleeding. But I don't care, this needs to end. My lawyer tells me that if he doesn't sign the new order within the week, we will file a non-compliance motion for his lack of parenting on our current and only parenting plan. You know, the one he has not complied with in a year. So I send him a very bland email that the clock is ticking and then we wait. I put the squeeze on him. It's the longest 5 days, a literal eternity. My lawyer and I place bets on if he will sign. We are both not hopeful. My boyfriend is a kind soul and give him the benefit of the doubt. I wish I was as optimistic as him. I think I've been burned so many times that I can't be optimistic. But on the final day, I get a text from him. He did it. He signed. I will not have to pay for travel or travel with them. That is his responsibility, as it should be. This was my major sticking point. Along with that, an increase in child support. Almost a year of legal fees and frustration, and he waves the white flag and signs it. All of that agony just for him to do what he should have done months ago. What was the point? Was it a game? An angry back and forth? His way of keeping control over me? Was it her pushing him to fight? Or did he just become more of an asshole all on his own? It's probably none of that or all of it. My lawyer told me his lawyer was done with him. His counsel basically told him that he hadn't cooperated with me or her and he would get destroyed in court. I could have asked for the moon and stars and I would have gotten it. Sheesh, he seems to piss off all the strong, smart women he encounters. We smell the bullshit. We know he is full of it. So is this the end? Fat chance. I'm sure there will be drama moving forward. What would my life be without drama? Reflecting. I can't believe what has happened to me and how I've navigated this. No one ever thinks they will be here and there is no way to plan for this, because it'll never be you, right? I often get comments about how strong I am and how women in similar positions envy me. I still don't know how to handle those compliments, because I made mistakes. So many. Too many. But I always focused on the two most important things, never losing sight of who I am and the well-being of my kids. I believe if you always stay true to your core values and the ones you love, You will never be defeated. By following me on this journey, I hope people found comfort and guidance from both my triumphs and my failures. I'm happy to say this leg of the road trip is complete. But like most road trips, the drive home is smooth. You know the route and the journey is less treacherous. Will I stop along the way this time and take in the sights? You betcha, because the road now is known and it heads to a familiar place. Home. Next on the list is a house, new job, more love from my new love. Perhaps maybe I write for pleasure and actually publish, and many more memory-making adventures. Just me and my boys. The way it should be. Chapter 58. Awkward small talk on a burning bridge. For many painful months I fought my ex about him visiting the boys. You all know this story, so you know how adamant he was about never returning here. So, after a year of negotiating, well, more like me negotiating and him playing dodgeball with all my requests, he finally signed and the boys must now travel to him, on his dime. Phew. See ya never, fat chance. He texts me in early April, telling me he'd like to come here for 3 days and visit the boys and celebrate our oldest's birthday. Like, seriously? What happened to all the foot stomping and epic hissy fit to never returning here? You sign the papers and now, a week or so later, you are telling me you want to come here? My ex is becoming a lot less predictable. Is this about control? Purposely doing the things he isn't supposed to do, to keep me on my toes? Listen, I'm too old to be a ballerina, sir, so I don't fight him, and he returns. While the boys are at school, he comes to the house to get their things. He looks, okay, no real change from Christmas. He is slowly putting those pounds on that he lost during the affair. Comfort, I guess. I offer him coffee because I'm a decent human being but also a caffeine addict, but he declines. So we stand awkwardly in the kitchen. Is he going to leave? Does he want to make small talk? I stare into my coffee and wish it was spiked. He makes conversation about the boys. Little things. Things that if he were present he would know. We talk about my house hunt, which is not going well. He then tells me they are doing a 160k renovation to her 5-bedroom home. Wow. Must be nice. Asshole. As he talks about the renovation, none of it seems necessary. A larger and more updated master bath, bumping out the front of the house to make a powder room and expand the entry. Like, how necessary is all of this? He seemed disgruntled and bothered about the renovation. Perhaps he sees they are unnecessary cosmetic changes. And is he financially contributing to this? To a house he doesn't even own? She could kick him out tomorrow and he will never get any of that cash back. Is he realizing how he's essentially a guest in that house, yet paying for it? I mean, good for you, girl. Squeeze him to increase your own equity. I'm not mad at you. The boys have a wonderful time swimming in the indoor pool, going out to eat, the movies and shopping. A successful weekend was had. He drops them off on Sunday and the boys run past me in the driveway with arms full of Legos and plush toys. I gather their bags and tell him, thanks. But there he goes again, awkwardly standing. Ugh. He wants to talk again. He kicks gravel in the road and tells me about their weekend. He then starts to tell me about a bachelor party he is attending in 2 weeks in Vegas. Cool. Didn't need to know this, but cool. He is at the wedding party and has drifted apart from many of those friends. Geez, I wonder why. He only talks to the groom. He tells me how he feels he will have to babysit everyone and is debating not going. Then it hits me. I know all these guys and he wants my opinion. Or better yet, he wants reassurance that the party will be more work than pleasure, and he's making the right call on bowing out. So I tell him the opposite. Go have fun. Secretly, I know he wants to go. I'm not sure why he is holding himself back from spending time with his friends on a guy's weekend in Vegas. Shoot, I'll go if you don't want to. Well, a week before the trip he got COVID. Or so he said. Via test he told me how sick he felt, tired, congested, etc. Happy accident, maybe. I had the kids FaceTime him 4 days after he tested positive to see how he felt, and there he was at work, congested and not wearing a mask. Perhaps the COVID protocols are less strict now. I'm not too sure. Fast forward 2 weeks and I'm hosting a friends' night with my dearest friends, their husbands, my boyfriend and our kids. As 7 children between the ages of 12 and 5 run around and scream, we sip drinks, eat and laugh. It's good fun with good people. My oldest and closest friend is scrolling through Instagram and she says, "Well, would you look at that?" My ex blocked most of us from his social media, but not her. Oversight, perhaps. She shows me the post. Today was the other woman's birthday. My ex wrote a long and lovely caption about her, empowering him to be the best bonus dad to her kids, and her being one of the best choices he's ever made. Well, damn. While I don't want him, it kinda sucks to read. Happy he's empowered to be a bonus dad, but treading water at being a real dad. 3 visits in a year doesn't get you nominated for Super Dad. But then I realise, the bachelor party, he bailed 'cause it was her birthday weekend. Was this by choice or by force? Ooh, shoot. I'm now drowning in the pettiness and big dumb smiling, knowing that the groom will see this and piece it all together. Another bridge burned. Don't judge me on enjoying this moment. I deserve it. Chapter 59. Mr. and Mrs. Right or Wrong. There comes a moment in every divorcee's journey that is confusing to face. Confusing not only because of how you feel, but why you feel that way. That is the problem I face now. Today I got a text message from my ex that read, "Hey, awkward text to send. But you finding out should come from me directly. I haven't told the boys or posted about it. Wanted to tell you first." Insert other woman's name. And I got engaged. Again, awkward as hell to say to you, but wanted you to hear it from me. My brain almost exploded from the enormous number of thoughts popping into my head. I had zero idea how to process this news, let alone how I was feeling. It's so strange. I don't want this man, but this news ripped me apart. Not for love, but out of anger and frustration. Obviously, I didn't express any of this. I simply told him, "Congrats. It's not awkward. We are moving on. I wish you well." That was external me. The internal me was itching to get to my laptop and jot down this post to digest my thoughts. But first, football practice. After bedtime, I raced to open my laptop and took a deep breath as she came to life. So come with me down the rabbit hole as I process this and probably overthink everything. Warning, this may get dark. But hell, it should be fun. Let's do the text first. Why oh why is telling me awkward. If I got engaged, I would not feel awkward at all to tell him. We are moving on. We don't need each other's approval. For some reason, he was more nervous to tell me he was engaged than he was to confess to the cheating. My engagement announcement would be a quick FYI text. FYI, I got the boys' sneakers. I'm engaged. There is a concert Friday and I'll send you pics. Now I knew from the jump that this was the end goal. You don't have an affair, leave your family, move across the country into someone's home, and be a bonus dad just to date this person. No, I'm a big girl. I knew it was coming eventually. I think him expressing that it was awkward to tell me threw me, though. Why? Do you feel guilty? Are you ashamed? Did you develop a conscience and realize this might be hurtful to me? Yes, I know. It's probably not that last one, but I was hopeful. I can't seem to make heads or tails of it. Maybe I'm not meant to. Next, my frustration. For over a year, this man cried that he was in the poorhouse. He fought me on any financial demand I made or obligation he had. And all this time he was refusing to pay for travel, drum lessons, sports, etc., but was putting money in the mattress for a diamond. And from what I know about her, she loves jewellery. This would not be a pebble, more like a blinding boulder. And here I am, begging for what our kids are entitled to, as he saves for her finger. It's honestly disgusting. I feel like I did everything right in my life. I dedicated myself to my family, worked hard in my career, managed to go back to school for my 3rd degree. I drank water, slept 8 hours nightly. Okay, that one's a lie. And attempted a semi-balanced diet. Is butter a carb? I did it all right. But here I am, raising 2 boys at my mother's house while I try to find us a home. I feel like even though I played by the rules in the Monopoly game of life, I was sent to jail and have to lose a turn while the game keeps going on. I bet he's going to buy Boardwalk too. The thing that irks me the most is he never worked for any of this. It's like every roll of the dice, he just got lucky. He benefited from everyone else's sacrifices. And I'm the one living with the repercussions of every decision he has made with our boys in tow. I feel stuck, and he's just gliding down the board, rolling a 12 every time. My sister reassures me that, yay, my life is kinda on pause now and it's not permanent, but my ex will always be a garbage person. That phase of his life is forever. Okay, pity party over. Let me hike up my big girl panties and move on. Last but never least, the boys. He made a point of telling me that he has yet to tell the boys. You want to know why he hasn't told the boys? He hasn't called them in 3 weeks. I've told the boys to call him, but he has not called them. I can already see how that convo goes. Hey guys, haven't checked in on you in weeks, but let's talk about me. Oh brother, what a self-centered moron. I suggested that perhaps telling your children in person would, be a better choice. He agreed. I also warned him that they probably wouldn't even flinch at the news, this being because they are boys, and it doesn't change their day-to-day lives. He also agreed to that, so why the dog and pony show? Oh, that's right, it's not for them, but for you. He claimed he didn't want it to seem like he was keeping a secret from them, so he wanted to tell them ASAP. Oh boy, wait till they find out that big secret about why Mum and Dad got divorced. He told me it will be a long engagement and a very small wedding. Is that his way of telling me I'm not invited? I'm heartbroken. If you could see how hard I'm eye-rolling right now, I swear you'd be impressed. Hopefully he invites his children. That would be nice. My boyfriend thinks him telling me was pathetic, a sad attempt to gloat, like, okay, I did some shitty stuff, but look how great it turned out. It was the right decision, see? I feel validated for being a monster. That his claims of feeling awkward were just an attempt to seem human, a marriage built on infidelity, secrecy, and poor choices by two self-centered people. Sounds like a perfect match. Chapter 60. Summer. It came and it went. Yes, summertime is a time that warms your skin, ice pops cool your tummy, everything smells like chlorine and mosquitoes feast on us mercilessly. In my 40 years, this might have been the best summer I've ever had. That is the reason for my delay in writing. I was busy living. Let's rewind the summer, and I can play it all back for you. In June, the communication began to get the boys across the country for a visit. I was excited and felt so guilty about it. Ask any parent how they would feel to be childless for 30 days and you'll get the same reaction. Instant excitement and relief, followed by sadness and guilt. That was my constant state of being the month of June. The communication was surprisingly easy, though. He was excited, the boys were fairly excited, and I was hesitant. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, or in a constant fear for the boys' well-being. It was a hell of a time with the ending of the school year, bidding on homes, applying for a new job, and preparing myself for the summer without the boys. July the 1st came and we headed to the airport. My oldest is such a nervous Nelly, and he had a look of fear on his face every time I glanced back into the rearview mirror. My youngest was sporting a floppy-eared Pikachu baseball hat and focused on his iPad. He couldn't be bothered by the upcoming transition. I envied him. I pulled up to departures and saw my ex outside. He shaved his head completely. He looked weird. I obviously am not attracted to him anymore, and this new cut really sealed that for me. I kissed my kids, went over a few particulars with my ex and watched them walk through the sliding glass doors. They are gone. I'm swirling with emotions, and none of them are right, and none of them are wrong. I put the car in drive and make the 90-minute drive to my boyfriend's place. I'm a whole ball of feels when I arrive, and he knows this. He lovingly comforts me and feeds me. Man, this guy really knows the way to my heart. I get a text with a photo of them all tuckered in their seats, flashing a thumbs up and peace signs. They look happy, so I am happy. I spend the month of July surrounded in calm love. It's beautiful. Is this what real, mature love looks like? If so, please sign me up. My boyfriend and I talk, plan for the future, have adventurous outings and nights tucked in bed watching movies. I want to live in these moments forever. I realize in this time how much I needed this break. I needed the time to remember who I am and what I need. As parents, we prioritize everyone else. We give ourselves 1 to 2 hours every evening after the kids go to bed to decompress. But those hours are not enough. I'm realizing now how I burned that candle at both ends, and I was about to be scorched. In mid-July, we take a much-needed vacation to Mexico. Want to know what I did on that trip? Nothing. I did nothing, and it was glorious. I sat by the pool every day and sipped frozen mango margaritas. My boyfriend and I bonded and relaxed together. It was all we needed. Upon our return, we took a road trip and visited his brother. This was a bit nerve-wracking. I'd never met anyone in his family, as they are spread all over the country and overseas. What if they don't like me? I reminded myself it will be fine, and my boyfriend giggled at my anxiety. He was confident that by being myself I'd win them over. Well, guess what? It worked. His brother gave us the talk on our second day. What are your intentions for the future? It was almost silly. He directed this question to my boyfriend like he was my father looking out for my well-being. My boyfriend didn't hesitate. We are going to be together forever. Someone please scrape me off the floor because I have melted into a big heaping pile of bubbling love. Now this is something we talked about together, but not something we have said to others. And for him to say this to his brother, the person he is the closest to, this means something. After we left, his brother sent him a message telling him not to mess this up because she is a keeper. Yes, please, let's keep each other. During July, I tried to limit communication with the kids. Yes, I wanted to call them every day, but I knew my ex would see that as me limiting his time. So I called every Friday and encouraged the kids to call me whenever they wanted. We talked, and they told me about all the fun they were having. They bonded well with her kids and were enjoying themselves. I was very pleased. Then it all changed. 2 days before their return, my ex sends me a long message about my youngest's behaviour. Now let me tell you, my youngest is a strong-willed child. I've had issues with his behaviour in the past and have worked to correct this behaviour. I've been successful, but it can be a full-time job. I'm happy now my ex is experiencing firsthand what I've been complaining about to him since he moved. Welcome to my life. Apparently, my youngest got into a disagreement with her youngest. When his GF intervened, my youngest got pissed and called her fat. Now, this is obviously rude, but I'm still laughing about it as I write this. I'm just as annoyed as I am proud. Thanks, little man, but no iPad for the rest of the week. Apparently his GF was upset and demanded to my ex that my youngest seek more counselling for his behaviour. My ex sent me a paragraph about how we need to do this now so that we avoid issues when he is a teenager. Okay, no problem. I started researching therapists in the area, called my insurance company and put in all the legwork. My ex supported all of this. Then later that day I got back to him with what it would cost out of pocket. Once I sent him that number, it was radio silence. Shocker. He got back to me a few hours later and said he shouldn't have said anything to me, he was emotional and worried, etc. No, that's not it. She demanded it, I told you how much it would cost, and once she heard that, she dialed it back. Well, guess what? I'm taking him anyway and sending you the bill. If he fights me, I'll send him the screenshot of him demanding this was necessary for our son's well-being. Gotcha, asshole. Now, do I think he needs to return to counselling? Not really. But will it hurt? Nope. So we will go because it will only help him. I'm sure my son being there for an extended period of time and witnessing my ex be the dad he always wanted made him angry enough to misbehave. When I mentioned to my ex that his behaviour changed after the separation, he got angry and said, I knew you'd make this about us. It has nothing to do with us. Yeah, it does. So he will return to counselling. I'm so happy you suggested it. That experience soured all the positivity I had about their trip. Yes, the boys had a good time, but my ex is still prioritising his GF and the new family's needs over his own children's. This is a pill that is always hard to swallow. Eventually I'll be numb to it, but when that happens, my boys will be old enough to understand and it will become their pill. I hate that that is the eventual reality. He hasn't even called them since their return several weeks prior. He also said he was going to research therapists and get back to me, but has yet to do so. He won't. That's why I just made an appointment for September. You'll get the bill. You're welcome. Chapter 61. Karma. Over the years since the separation, I have waited patiently. I have kept my focus forward and waited for the pieces to fall into place. In these almost 3 years, I have pushed and worked and was able to financially benefit from my divorce, complete another degree, meet an amazing man, nurture my kids, and yes, buy a house. While tragic and heartbreaking, I'm happy to say that I have come out the other side of the divorce changed and better. So, let this be proof that if you stay focused on your children and stay true to yourself, that you will heal and be victorious in your fight. But that's not what this post is about today. Today is the day that everything comes full circle. Last night I returned from the store with arms full of painting supplies for my new home and a lighter wallet. I was excited and overwhelmed about the new home, and over a glass of wine I reflected on how I achieved all I had hoped for. I pat myself on the back between sips and settle myself in for a solo date with Netflix. Once relaxed, my phone pings. Thinking it's my boyfriend texting goodnight, I excitedly grab it only to realise it's my ex. He wants to know if the boys will be going to the beach this weekend. Strange. Does he maybe want to finally call them? I let him know that my parents are taking them so I can work on the house for the next few days. He then tells me he wants to return here for a few days but doesn't want to talk about why. What? My interest is piqued, like through the roof. Okay, how do I play this? I want that tea spilt like right now, but I can't seem too anxious. I let him know the boys' schedule for the next week and remind him that if he needs to talk, let me know. This display of concern is really me being nosy, so don't come at me for comforting him. Apparently, when the boys visited, he never had a sit-down talk with them that he and his GF were engaged. Now the GF is pissed and wants time apart to think. Okay, let's empty this trash and dig through it. 1, my boys don't care. Even if he did make a show of telling them, they would just say okay and immediately ask for a snack as if nothing happened. 2, my boys have been through a lot with the divorce, moving, him leaving, etc. If it takes a little longer to tell them, then it takes a little longer. 3, why is that a time apart scenario? Is this a relationship-breaking event? I don't think it is. I remind my ex that they are engaged and he made the decision to select her as his partner, but I hit him with some hard truths. I told him my opinion of her. I think she is a self-centered manipulator. She will always be about her and what she wants, and when she wants something she will hit low to get it. My ex confides in me, reluctantly, that he is second-guessing this engagement. Wow. He apologizes and says he shouldn't even be talking to me after what he put me through. Yes, it's true, you put me through hell. But I walked through that fire and came out a better, happier person. He said that he has been miserable since the engagement because she has changed. She hits low, attacking him as a partner, father, and even about his appearance. I remind him these are not the words of a partner but a bully. He doesn't disagree. I remind him of all the times that we agreed on something only for him to talk to her and fight me on it. Whose needs was he meeting then? The children's or hers? She has been about herself way before the engagement. He was just too deep in the affair fog to see it. I pause and assess my feelings about this situation. This is the karma I had long waited for. He now sees what I've seen in her and what she is capable of. All those decisions are now biting his arse. I've said it from the beginning. Any woman that steals a married man and father and encourages the idea of that man moving 2,000 miles away from his children can't be trusted. Now, he is no saint either. I have no sympathy for his choices. But I don't think he realised how his choices would leave him dependent on her. He has no one or anything of his own. He's put her in a huge position of power. Now she is manipulating him to get what she wants, threatening him that he has to leave because she knows he has nowhere to go, taking away her kids who he is bonded with. He has a job out there that he can't completely leave, no real friends out there, and burnt bridges because of her here. It's all a power move. Her ex warned me of this. She liked to throw her weight around and bully people to get her way. In his words, she's a monster. I want to say I told you so, but he's so pathetic right now I don't rub it in, especially since everything in my life is going right. I'm going to continue being the bigger person. He tells me how he's sitting at his desk at work, crying. seeing all the ways I've destroyed my own life as well as the kids. I have no real advice for him. I just tell him the boy's schedule and let him know I'm available to discuss his travel when he's ready. They aren't lying when they say karma is a bitch. Chapter 62. Parachute. I, along with other divorcees, have been through hell. And through that journey we have learned some hard lessons. These teachings have made us more prepared for life and better at making future decisions. Especially when it comes to selecting a partner. Let me tell you about my boyfriend. He is the calm that I need to be. He is always optimistic. He doesn't worry about things out of his control, and he lives for simple moments. He avoids confrontation by being direct in communication, and his actions match his words. He knows how I think, and he's always prepared to deal with my thinking, because he already knows what's coming. He is loving and passionate, and understands my needs. There is never judgment. There is never malicious arguing. There is only love and support. This, I think, is what healthy love looks like. This is what we all strive for, especially the second time around. My ex did not return here after our last chat. When I asked him about his travel plans a few days later, he said they had a talk. No punches pulled, real talk, and they worked it out. I told him that if he was happy with it, then great. His response? We'll see how it goes. Okay, now, this is strange to me. The second time is when you get it right, no? You matured, figured out what you needed from a partner, learned from your mistakes, and picked a winner this time. Well, apparently not. I guess we are all entering relationships with dull optimism. He has promised to return for our youngest's football game, but has dodged me every time I ask. And even worse when our son asks. Why make promises you have no intention of keeping? My friend speculates that his girlfriend reads our messages, screens our calls, and won't allow him to return since she knows we are on good terms. Perhaps this is true, but I'm sure he deletes our messages. That thought in itself is pathetic. I recently learned from a mutual friend that my ex struggles with some character flaws his new girlfriend has. Perhaps she's rude to waiters. Maybe she's gullible. She could possibly be too vain. No, the truth is far worse. I'm even ashamed to type it. She regularly uses inappropriate epithets when referring to some people. This blew my mind. Good people don't do this. I'm enraged and embarrassed to learn this, and I am fearful of my children being around someone who speaks this way. So I asked my youngest if he heard any bad words used when he visited this summer. He told me that she used the B word. Ooh. This isn't great news, but better than what he could have said. So I asked when she used it. He told me that when she and Daddy fought, she would call him the B word. Hold up. So when they would argue, she would refer to my ex as a bitch. Please. How has he hurt you, sis? He has done everything you've asked and you still talk down to him. My head is spinning. I remind him the B word is an unkind word and we are never to refer to anyone as such. He says, duh, I know. Pause. But you should tell her. Kids, man. Since I'm getting uncensored, honestly, from my little one, I ask how often she and Daddy would yell at each other. Like every night. Wow. Why would you subject yourself to this? Open your parachute and jump because that plane is aflame and spiraling. Perhaps it's hard to jump when you know there is nowhere safe to land. So here he is, with a woman whom he gave up everything for, only to now be manipulated, degraded, and unhappy with. Walking on eggshells, waiting for the next put down. It's not a good life, but it's the life he chose and continues to choose. I will continue to choose living my healthy, uncomplicated, loving lifestyle with my children and true partner. So very last laugh of me. I know. Chapter 61. Responsibilities and Gaslighting. I write to you this evening from the comfort of my new home. The boys are tucked in bed. There was resistance, but I was victorious. The TV over the fireplace glows bright, replaying a popular sitcom. The dishes are washed, lunches are made. Football uniforms have been cleaned. Homework is done, and all is right in the world. There is a special feeling being in a new home after divorce. I don't have half the things I need, but it's a work in progress. I'm grateful for the help from my family and friends in setting up my home. The independence is exciting, starting your life over on your terms, but also terrifying. What if I can't pay a bill? What if someone breaks in? What if there is a huge spider on my bedroom wall? I know I've always been I am woman, hear me roar, but I draw the line at spiders. The woman I bought the house from was a divorcee with 2 children. There were many offers on the house, but when she heard my situation, she knew it was meant for me. Her ex also moved far away, and her past struggle is currently my struggle. We met once and bonded over that. There were moments of comparing notes of our exes and also moments of tears. My story is not new. Women have been struggling with what I face every day. But she gave me hope. I named the house after her. I'm hoping Carol and I have many great years together. I've been listening to lots of podcasts lately about divorces dealing with being a single parent and narcissists. I've been able to relate to so much of what I have heard and learned a ton. I know many of you in the past have encouraged me to grey rock my ex. While great in theory, it's difficult with children. I wish I could cut all ties, but it isn't that easy. I thought it wasn't possible, but my ex has proven that it is. The truth is, he isn't grey rocking me, he's grey rocking his children. We had a therapy appointment for my youngest 2 weeks ago. The therapist is a lovely woman who is annoyingly upbeat. I guess that's a good quality when you're a child therapist. She called me to inform me that after many calls and emails, my ex had agreed to join the therapy session on Zoom. The therapist was more excited than I was. Perhaps that's because I knew the outcome before the day even arrived. We arrived to our appointment that day, and the therapist greeted me with a look of defeat. My ex sent an email and bailed on the appointment only minutes before it was to begin. I laughed. I literally giggled when she told me. She must think I'm insane. Yes, my ex demanded this therapy, and then when he has to put forth some effort, he bails. None of this surprises me. But bless her heart, she assures me she is going to try again and get him to join. Okay, love, you keep trying. 2 weeks later, I arrive for our next appointment and she tells me that she has sent multiple emails and made multiple calls and has yet to get a response. I haven't spoken to my ex in close to 3 weeks either. He hasn't called the boys in over a month. So I text him, "Hey, the therapist has been trying to get in contact with you. Please email her back." He responds a few minutes later telling me he emailed her that very morning. She is flustered when she learns this and apologizes. She closes the door and has therapy with my son. I browse old magazines, watch Instagram reels, and an hour later my youngest runs out the door into the waiting room, all smiles. She pulls me aside and shows me she has no email from him. Nothing in the last 3 weeks. She tried to explain to me what gaslighting is, but I stop her. I know this. I lived with this. Now his children are living with this, and as a fun bonus, she is now too. She tells me she doesn't know how effective therapy will be for my son, only because the root of most of his aggression comes from his father and him leaving. And if he doesn't participate in the therapy, she isn't confident it will have the outcome we had hoped for. Yes, she can help my son to deal with the abandonment and empty promises, but she was under the impression my ex wanted to work with her to address these issues and holds himself accountable for his neglect. Ha! I didn't laugh out loud, but I wanted to. Of course he demanded therapy so I could find a doctor, drive him, wait an hour, pay up front and drive him home, but a 5-minute Zoom call was just too much. Last month he promised my youngest he would come to his football game. My oldest told him that he wouldn't come. He gets it, but my little one still holds out hope. He has 2 more games left and it looks like my eldest's prediction is coming true. Luckily, my boyfriend has been going to his games and he has enjoyed having his support. I'm grateful for that. In retrospect, maybe I've been holding on to the ideas of my ex stepping up not because I want him to be a dad, but because my little one does. Last Saturday, I witnessed my boyfriend sitting on the couch munching popcorn with my boys while they watched a movie, simply enjoying the moment together. It made me happy to see their bond. It made me sad my ex won't have that. But, in all honesty, if he isn't sad about it, why should I be? Another moment lost for him, and another gained for our future